Hot take, the modern day storytelling aspects are the most important part of the Assassin's Creed series. I just finished Assassin's Creed 2 last night for the first time, and apparently it's a hot take to have that the modern day or the present day storytelling with Abstergo and Desmond is the most important aspect of the storytelling of Assassin's Creed. When you jump to the modern day with Desmond and everything else, like everything with Abstergo is the reason that there's stakes in any of this. You can go back to Altair and you can go back to Ezio and you can do all of their storylines, but their storylines are already set in stone as far as you know. You just haven't experienced them yet. But when you do finally experience them as Desmond, that is when everything gets very, very interesting. Everything that happens when you are playing as Desmond as Ezio is where the story happens. At the end of the game, spoiler alert, when Minerva talks to you as the player, to you as Desmond, the stakes could not be higher as to how everything is supposed to play out for the future of humanity. Not just the stakes of the game, the stakes for the character, the player, the world that we exist in real life. The Assassin's Guild and the Knights Templar and how they sort of coincide with each other in reality is what gives everything in this series its stakes. Everything that happens to Ezio happens to Desmond. And everything that Desmond learns from Ezio with the bleed effect matters so much more because it takes place in the present day, in the current timeline that we exist in as players, as Desmond, as everyone else. The stakes of the future could not be higher for the modern day aspects, whereas the stakes of the present day Ezio, for all of everything that he goes through, everything that Altair goes through, all of those things don't matter because they are just a history book. The way that they affect Desmond and the way that they affect us as the player through Desmond is so much more important than having just read a history book. And you could argue that the history book aspect and all of this stuff is that we're teaching us history through the form of a video game or whatever it is. But the fact is that the stakes that are there exist because of Abstergo, Desmond, and the present day timeline. Getting rid of the present day timeline does not help us tell the story. It only hurts us in storytelling aspect. Yes, okay, I will admit they are not as exciting as they could be, but they are the exposition. And exposition as a storytelling tool is not always exciting. And the way that Assassin's Creed set this up and the way that Ubisoft set this up, it's not that exciting. You are correct. I will agree with that aspect. But to think that it's unnecessary, to think that you could remove it from the storytelling, remove it from the story of the characters that we are playing as and the historical characters we're playing as versus Desmond versus everything else that goes on with Abstergo and the Knights Templar and how it all sort of coincides with past and present. That is Assassin's Creed. You cannot get rid of those things to make the story better. You can only make it worse. And that is my argument.